right, let's take you to the Eastern Cape now, where desperate families are continuing to search for their missing relatives after deadly flooding in Mthatha. The official death toll is at 86, but the bodies of more people are still being recovered. Newzroom Afrika's Malungelo Booi is live to us in the area. Malu, just a short while ago, you spoke to an uncle who is searching for his missing teenage relative. What a nightmare. Tell us what he had to say.
That's right, Mish. In fact, he's accompanied by a group of 6 other local residents. So they've divided themselves into 3 groups. One group is searching one part of this area and another group is searching this part of this river. We are along the Mthatha river banks right now, Mish. And one of the things that these men are armed with, it's only the sticks which they use to balance, really, because it's also very slippery. But what we've also seen about 5 minutes ago, we've also seen police and emergency officials getting into the water, assisting to search for these missing, for the bodies of the missing people in these floods. But one of the things, Michelle, some of the relatives have been saying to us is that all they want to get are the bodies of their loved ones so that they can be able to bury them. Kause. I'm just trying to get Mish, a father who's also joined the search. He too has lost a daughter in the floods, and he was saying to me off air that the child was also in the school bus that was swept away. I just want to hear his story a little bit. Kunjani bhuti? Ngicela usondele kum. So ndicela ukukhangela bani wena?
Mina ngikhangela uMihlali. Isename yakhe nguMageleni. Una 15 years akafumaneke. Bekule bus yabantwana besikolo. So babili abantwana bangakafumaneki kwabantwana bebekule bus yesikolo.
Okay. UMihlali befunda ugrade bani?
Angiqinisekanga ngoba mina angihlali apha. So into zabantwana ndizinake kakhulu. Behlala nomama wami. Mina bengisegoli.
Uze eGauteng
Ngesimanga into ba umntana ulahlekile akakafumaneki.
Ithemba lakho yintoni? Into
kumi bingase nje noba akasekho ke emhlabeni afumaneki. Sikhona ukumfihla bangaba uswelekile.
Likhona uncedo olufunayo?
Njengoba ke ngoku abantu abasebenza ngokwamanzi bese busy besakhangela. Nethemba lento bamhlambi njengoba beqhubeka nokusebenza bazawukhangela mhlambi bazawuphetha befumaneka bonke abantu abalahlekileyo.
Kunjani uziva njani nje?
Kunzima nokulala ebusuku. Kunzima nokulala. Andazi bani ngiyathi mhlambi ngenza kanjani ukuze ndibe mhlambi ndiyaxola ba ukhona emhlabeni ora akasekho. Enjalo nje.
Igama lomntwana ngu
Mihlali Mageleni. Mina ndinguLuvuyo Khwelemthini.
Okay, good. Ndiyabulela ngexesha lakho.
Nami ndiyavuka ngoba nincedisane nathi. Sibe nethemba lento bamhlambi. Sizawuphetha sibe khona into ebambekayo siyifumanayo.
All right, Mish, that's the father of Mihlali. Mihlali is 15 years old. He says he was one of the pupils who were in a school bus that was swept away, he says. And he came all the way from Gauteng because that's where he is based. Mihlali was staying with his gran. He came here to assist, because of this tragedy, to assist in searching for the child. And he says all he wants really is to find this child, whether dead or alive, so that they, as the family, can be able to give this little girl, a proper and a decent send-off. He says it's actually even difficult to sleep because all, as the family, they want is closure. You know, Michelle, Sundays, this is when families gather around for lunch and share stories. But for many families here in Umtata, they're really counting the costs of this disaster. Some are using this Sunday to search for their missing loved ones, hoping that they'll actually just find the bodies of their missing loved ones so that they can essentially just give them that proper burial. Officials are saying to us, Michelle, the number of those who have died in this disaster, especially here in Umtata, stands at 86. But we have seen, Michelle, more bodies being retrieved. Yesterday, in fact, we saw at least 3 bodies that were retrieved. 2 retrieved at Umtata Dam, and another body was retrieved just at the back of the Umtata river wall. And that body was in fact covered under debris, and it was covered under a mattress. And that is one of the things, though, that these local residents and officials, rescuers and volunteers are doing. They're scouring every area and, moving around and also kicking and pulling up the debris, hoping that they'll find more of the bodies that have been washed away in those floods. Mish?
Malu, it's devastating, and I think everyone listening, we can put ourselves in that position, right? It's so nightmarish, but you can imagine the desperation to find the remains of your loved ones so that you can lay them to rest. Having said that, is this a safe exercise for these residents to undertake on their own?
Mish, it's a sign really of desperation. So this is what also officials were saying, is that when residents do these searches, they also need to make sure that they don't risk their lives, right? But people are desperate, and yes, they do see that rescuers and volunteers are doing everything they can to find, to recover as many bodies as they can. But people, I suppose, Mish, are finding it difficult to just sit at home and wait. And they feel like they too need to do something. And when I was talking to Utatu Tandukolo Dagana, who's searching for his niece, he's saying that they're going to cover an area that is roughly over 2 kilometers, Michelle, along this path, the path that they've taken. They're going all the way. This path, right, this riverbank, this is Umtata River, but what they'll go is as far as the Umtata Dam, and that's over about 2 kilometers. That's a lot, especially if you are just walking and you moving around, kicking debris, just trying to see if you find, a body of your loved one. People are desperate, even those, Michelle, that are being kept at churches and at schools. Most of them are women, and some of them were saying that, if they had means and ways, they would actually join the men in the search of their missing relatives, but they can't, because they also need to look after, the children that have also been displaced as a result of the devastating floods here in Umtata. People saying, Michelle, this is the worst flood disaster in this particular area that they've seen in as many years. Mish?
It certainly is. And officials speaking over the past week, all of them echoing those sentiments. Malungelo Booi, live to us in Umtata.